Roethlisberger is off the hook. The shocking announcement made just hours ago by a Georgia district attorney. And in just moments, we will bring you a new on-camera statement from Big Ben himself. It's coming in right now. The Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback was accused of sexually assaulting a 20-year-old co-ed in the bathroom of a nightclub after a night of hard partying last month. So why was the case dropped like a fumbled football? Well, listen to what the DA said about how an emergency room doctor described the victim's injuries.
A superficial laceration and bruising and slight bleeding in the genital area. Everything else in the medical examination was normal. The doctor stated that he could not say that these were or were not from any kind of trauma or sexual assault.
So where did they come from? Lacerations, bruises, bleeding. There was some physical evidence, but authorities say it was not enough to file charges. Turns out, less than 2 weeks after the alleged assault, the woman told the DA in a lawyer letter she was not in favor of prosecution. But the letter says the woman is not recanting her story, leaving the door open for a possible lawsuit. TV station KDKA reported that Big Ben admitted to cops that he had consensual contact with the woman, but not sexual intercourse. And what about the booze? The DA says Ben and this girl had both been drinking heavily that night. So do you think the DA made the right call not to prosecute? Did Big Ben get a pass? Call me, 1-877-JVM says, 1-877-586-7297. Joining me now, John Lusich, veteran criminal investigator. B.J. Bernstein, defense attorney and former sex crimes prosecutor, and Ryan Smith, entertainment and sports attorney and host of In Session on our sister network, True TV. Ryan, we begin with you. The alleged victim didn't want to move forward, but is it really up to her?
No, it's really up to the prosecutor. So in this case, they felt that they didn't have enough physical evidence to make this thing work. Now, you always want to have the victim in your corner, and you always want to have them backing this. You want to have them as a potential witness in any trial that might happen. So it's probably a factor, but the real issue here, Jane, is that they didn't have DNA evidence to really connect them here. And the big issue here, the fact that the story wasn't necessarily consistent, alcohol being involved, all are very tough things for a prosecutor to be able to prove this kind of case.
The DA went into substantial detail about what physical evidence they did and did not have against Big Ben.
The initial testing found human male DNA present. Additional extensive testing was done. But because the sample was so minute, it would not yield a profile.
So here is my big issue. Did Big Ben Roethlisberger get a pass? TMZ reported that security footage from the Capital City nightclub about 2 hours outside Atlanta was somehow mysteriously erased. TMZ says that claim contradicts the bar's owner's claim that he had the video. Let's go to, okay, Big Ben speaking right now. Let's listen.
I know without a doubt it was the right conclusion. I don't intend to discuss any details related to the events in Georgia, and I'm happy to put this behind me and move forward. I am truly sorry for the disappointment and negative attention I have brought to my family, my teammates, coaches, the Rooneys, and the NFL. I understand that the opportunities I have been blessed with are a privilege, and that much is expected of me as the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I absolutely want to be the leader this team deserves, valued in the community, and a role model to kids. I have much work to do to earn this trust, and I'm committed to improving and showing everyone my true values. I am excited to get back to work with my teammates, and I'm more determined than ever to have a great season. I intend to make my family, friends, and the Steeler Nation proud on all fronts. Thank you, and God bless.
All right, B.J. Bernstein, former sex crimes prosecutor. You just heard Big Ben moments ago saying he thinks it's the right decision, but then he apologizes. What do you make of it?
Well, I think what Fred Bright, the district attorney, said really says it all when he made in his comments dismissing this case that he didn't have a criminal case, but that morally there may be some issues here. And I think that's what Ben was getting at. Again, you have him at a bar late night, serving shots, drinking, a lot of things going on, such that it doesn't place him in the type of character that we look up to from anyone, and even more so our athletes.
BJ, the woman had superficial lacerations, bruises, and slight bleeding to the genital area. My ears perked up when I had heard that, and the DA then proceeded to say in the next sentence, but other than that, it's like, well, other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play?
Well, the thing is this, in working in these cases, and as you well know, that there actually can be some of those injuries during consensual sexual contact as well as non-consensual. And then the other part of...
You know what? I don't want to get graphic here.
I know.
But,
I wanted to be careful with your time.
I think any person who is not a virgin could say that 9 times out of 10, sexual contact does not result in bruising, lacerations. I mean,
but they use the word superficial. In other words, and that is a medical term indicating that it was slight as opposed to something overwhelming that we would all wince at. And again, that's not enough. The problem is it's not enough under Georgia criminal law. Besides lack of consent, there has to be force. And force is usually more than just the sexual act itself.
Yeah, and I want to point out, no charges are being filed against Ben Roethlisberger. He says that this was the right decision, although he's apologizing for other behavior that night. Nevertheless, John Lusich, you're the former criminal investigator. As a woman, this was all very humdrum until I heard those 3 words: the laceration, the bleeding, the bruises.
Jane, I agree with the prosecutor, mainly from a standpoint is if you don't have the evidence and you don't have a cooperating witness, you're all uphill going nowhere with this. There's no doubt about it. This guy's got to clean up his act, and he's got a long way to go if he wants to be some kind of role model like he says. But the prosecutor didn't say a criminal act didn't occur. What he did say was that there was no evidence to support the charges for a criminal act.
And let's face it, Ryan, alcohol is a big factor in all of this.
Yep, it absolutely is. It's a huge factor. And you know what, Jane? The problem is when you have a victim, at least under Georgia law, when you have a victim like this who was, as they say, highly intoxicated, it becomes hard to have a case against Ben Roethlisberger because you got these 2 people in a bathroom. No one knows what's going on except the 2 people in there. We don't know what her state is, his state is. It becomes hard to put together a case.
On top of that, the DA, correct me if I'm wrong, said that he was giving her shots. So he was allegedly intoxicating her.
But even if he's giving her shots, can we prove, this is what the DA is looking at, can I prove with the evidence I have that a crime was committed? So giving her shots, all that kind of stuff, as a person under 21, maybe that's a whole separate issue under Georgia law. But here, for the crime of assault, it's tough.
Getting drunk is no reason to be violated, but I will say the message to women is when you do get drunk, you don't only get trashed, you trash your credibility as a witness as well. More on the Ben Roethlisberger breaking news.